Hey guys, welcome back to Storytime with Amanda. I have yet another dating chronicles or dating disasters story for y'all. So on today's story, I'm going to share the sordid details of a date that I went on a few years back. Believe it was about 7 years ago, maybe 8. So let me set the stage for you. This was someone I had dated before. Again, I'm not going to name names in any of these stories because I'm trying to protect the innocent or the guilty. But I mean, I'm not going to publicly shame them. But sharing the stories is always funny because one, it did happen, and two, they always thought they were funny too. So, okay. So, this particular date, I had dated this person before a couple of times. I say that because we dated back in high school and then we dated after high school. But it was like a timing just wasn't right kind of thing. And we had finally gotten to a point in our lives where the timing seemed to line up for both of us. So we thought, okay, we'll give it another go, right? We really enjoyed each other's company. Conversation was always fantastic, which we all know with me, conversation is the biggest thing. So we decided to go on a date, and this date was actually going to involve a party, a house party, right? And it was a weekend that I didn't have my kiddo, so I was actually going to have the ability and the opportunity to have an alcoholic beverage, right? And I'm not one to go and have a whole 18 pack of beer or anything. I literally have one, maybe a second, and I'm done. Because I just don't like getting drunk and hungover. That's just not fun. So I was pretty stoked about being able to drink a glass of wine with adults, right? So we go to this house party and everybody's fantastic. It's a bunch of people I know. We're having a good time. Conversation is going. I'm getting to catch up with a lot of old friends. And we're having a good time, right? Music's playing. There's dancing. There's pool. There's ping pong, and then there was cornhole, right? So, and I had never played cornhole at the time, so I was having a good time playing that and catching up with friends. So anyways, I'm not really up my date's ass because, again, we've known each other for quite some time. So I'm, trying to be cool and laid back. And one, we're really not in a relationship. We're on a date. So I'm trying not to be a dick and be like, dude, why don't you come hang out with me? So he's kind of hanging out with all of our friends and stuff. And so there was a lot of time where we weren't hanging out together, okay? Which isn't a bad thing. I'm getting to see a bunch of people I hadn't seen in years. But I guess the bad part about it, not us not hanging out most of the evening, was I was not aware of the amount of alcohol my date had consumed, okay? And I say that because we all know that the more alcohol that's consumed could lead to a couple of negative scenarios, right? Thankfully, this was not a scenario where there was any kind of forcing himself on me or any situation where I felt uncomfortable. I mean, it was actually really funny what happened in hindsight. At the time, not so funny. I was like, but anyways, we had rented a hotel room, and long story short, we got a cab after the party was over. We got a cab back to the hotel room, and mind you, the hotel room had 2 beds because I'm a grown-up, 1, and 2, I'm a lady. Let's be real, right? So thankfully there was a second bed because at some point in the middle of the night, while we were sleeping, my date managed to hurl all over the bed. Now, I don't know if this was like just one of those like super drunk moments he had where like the hurl just happened and he didn't wake up, or if this was like a drunken stupor and he was aware of the vomiting or what. Like, I never asked. But let's just say that that was horrific to wake up to, okay? And again, in the moment that it happened, it was not funny, but like within 10 minutes, we were both laughing hysterically about it because it was pretty funny. It was pretty comical that he had thrown up at some point in the middle of the night and neither one of us were aware of it. And like, oh man, let's just say it was a hot mess. So, needless to say, he never called me after that. Not for a while, for a very long while, actually. We didn't go on another date after that for a very long while. It was probably a few years before he ever called me again and asked me on a date. Because we have been on a date since then. And I always have a fantastic time with this gentleman if he calls. We always end up having great conversation. It's just, there's always something that seems to happen with the timing. And I don't know if it's timing on his end or if it's just timing in general of like the dating disaster gods just keep messing with it. I'm not sure. But anyways, so that was my third dating disaster story I wanted to share with y'all. So on that note, I'm going to let y'all go because I'm getting close to home and I need to get off here. So, in the meantime, y'all have a fantastic week. Enjoy yourselves. Try to retain your sanity. Spread kindness like glitter. And don't be a grown man bully. Bye.